freedom and dreams. That is what One Piece is at its core. The goal of finding your freedom and living out your dream. For Sanji, his dream is finding the All Blue, a place where all four seas meet, a cook's paradise, a dream that manifested through the trauma of his childhood. Sanji later in life making himself one of the most important crewmates in the Straw Hat Pirates. Sanji is by far my favorite character in One Piece. There is just something about his cool demeanor and strong morals that I find compelling. In this video, I want to try and quantify why Sanji works so well in the story and how he separates himself from such an amazing cast of characters. Also, before we dive into the video, I recently launched a Patreon. If you want to support my work, please check out the link below and subscribe to my Patreon to get your name at the end of each video, behind the scenes content, and access to my Patreon only forum. The first thing about Sanji and the thread that holds him together throughout the course of One Piece is no doubt his chivalry. No matter what the situation is, Sanji will always act the same, and there are very few instances of him not living up to his ideals. And when those moments of Sanji acting out of character do occur, it makes for some of the saddest moments in the story. Sanji's two main beliefs being, always finish your meal, and never hit a woman. Firstly, Sanji is a cook, and his life revolves around that, never allowing any food to be wasted, and putting his heart and soul into making his food as good as possible. But also one of the biggest character traits of Sanji is his love of women. Sanji's love and willingness to do anything for women fits in perfectly with his chivalry, this being one of the main sources of humor throughout the entirety of the series. I love basically every interaction with Sanji, Robin, and Nami. But his love for women also leads to the heartbreak of Whole Cake Island. Every crew member gets their own arc. Nami and Arlong Park, Chopper and Drum Island, Brook and Thriller Bark. But as the story has moved forward and we have established each member gets new moments to shine and have the spotlight on them. Sanji so far has two arcs, Baratier when he is first introduced and Whole Cake Island, one of the most recent arcs in the series and maybe my personal favorite. Baratier establishes who Sanji is at his core, and Whole Cake Island deepens and tests how far he has come. The distance in the story between these two arcs is actually pretty incredible at highlighting the long-term storytelling of Oda and how he has shaped Sanji into a fantastic character. Repetition with Sanji is what connects these moments between Baratier and Whole Cake Island that makes the second backstory of Sanji believable and grounded. I'm sure I'm not the only one who arrived at Sanji's second backstory in Whole Cake Island that questioned if it was believable storytelling. Sanji was already one of my favorite characters, and I was weary that Sanji would be worse off after this moment. However, with subtle repetition from earlier in the series and a backstory that leads to one of the best moments in the story so far, it actually helped separate Sanji from the rest of this brilliant cast of characters. As we know, Sanji is the third son of the Vinsmoke family, the leaders of the nation Germa 66. Germa 66 being a dictatorship in the North Blue, with goals to expand their incredible reach to each corner of the sea. To help them achieve this goal, technological pursuits are necessary, so Vinsmoke Judge made his children into artificial humans, taking away their emotions and enhancing their physical abilities. All of them but Sanji. Sanji is the only one of his siblings that is a human being, making him the runt of the litter. His brothers bully him endlessly for not being as gifted as they are. Sanji has a love of cooking from a young age, but that love of cooking is looked down upon by his family, resulting in Sanji getting beaten and broken until his sister helps him escape, and his dad lets him go to the East Blue. In the East Blue, Sanji finds a new father figure, the pirate Zeph, and after a terrible accident, Sanji and Zeph are stranded on an island with only one bag of food. Sanji eats the entire bag while Zeph eats his own leg. After that, Sanji dedicates his life to being a full-time cook, finding the All Blue and staying with Zeph, until Luffy enters his life and he finds companionship with the Straw Hats. Like all of the Straw Hats, they each have their own arc, where their emotional stories get blended together with the larger story, and the other crew members are more background. But Sanji has key moments that build him up through the story to make his individual arc in Whole Cake Island hit so hard. Whole Cake Island is where Sanji cemented himself as my favorite character in the series. Whole Cake Island leverages all of the benefits of having a story that is this long and is able to use previous story beats to redefine Sanji. Leading up to this point, I know a few things for certain about Sanji, which will give us a pretty good idea of how he will act in any given moment. Sanji loves women and will do anything for any pretty girl. In every situation, especially when something is stressful, he pulls out a lighter and starts to smoke. Sanji is steadfast in his ideals, in the way he treats people who waste food. When we arrive at Whole Cake Island, Oda forces all of these traits to their extreme by putting Sanji into an impossible situation. The marriage and betrayal of Pudding being the darkest moment for Sanji as a character. Quickly, I want to break down the series of events in Whole Cake Island and what they do for Sanji as a character. Firstly, the arranged marriage of Sanji and Pudding puts Sanji in a position where if he escapes back to the Straw Hats, the Big Mom pirates in Germa 66 will be after them. Sanji comes to the conclusion that he would rather sacrifice himself and his dreams to let his friends be able to keep theirs. Once he comes to that conclusion, he will not budge, as we have seen so many times in the series. Sanji sticks to his ideals to a fault. Hell, Sanji's no fighting women rule made him lose to the bubble fruit user. This leads us to his fight with Luffy, where even with what he went through with the crew in Water 7, a time where Sanji attempted to defuse the situation between Luffy and Usopp, Sanji is unwilling to move on this subject. Sanji shows just how far some of us will go to stand up for what we believe in. Certainly not a unique concept only to Sanji, but with the grand story of One Piece, Sanji's story is elevated. This fight taking on a different feeling than the one between Luffy and Usopp. Back in Water 7, Usopp is fighting for himself, because he feels that his value to the crew is gone, and he wants to prove that maybe, just maybe if he can beat Luffy, he will provide some worth to the rest of the crew. Here, at least in Sanji's mind, he's fighting for the crew. If he makes them go away, then hopefully they will be saved from Big Mom and Germa 66. Sanji then beats down Luffy, his best friend. The only way Sanji has been able to justify being back with his family that treated him so terribly, and leaving his true family behind in the Straw Hat crew, is because of Pudding. Sanji found a woman that seemed to truly care for him and understand who he is as a person. Until Sanji, attempting to bring her food, overhears Pudding talking to his sister. Sanji hearing about the lies of the Big Mom family, their plan to kill Sanji at the wedding, and then betray Germa 66. Pudding making fun of the sappy romantic that Sanji is, and forcing Sanji to break down. Sitting in the rain, distraught from what he has just heard, Sanji does the one thing that we have seen him do a million times before. Light up his cigarette. But not for the comedic relief when Usopp and Luffy are making fun of him, or when he is standing with the crew in the face of the world government, or even when he stands up to NL to save Nami. This time, Sanji tried to light up his cigarette, not knowing what else to do, when his only glimmer of hope was Pudding, being able to live a happy life with her. So Sanji fails to light his cigarette. And then we see his face, the sadness and look of defeat Sanji is feeling in his life. There might not be a panel that has impacted me more than this one. The feeling of loneliness conveyed through one image. Whole Cake Island is no doubt what sets the standard for Sanji as a character, with the immense payoff of hundreds of chapters in the story. And even later in the arc, there are more callbacks, when Sanji looks Pudding in the eye and still shows her compassion, in the same way he did for Violet in Dressrosa. These small build-ups make Sanji such a believable and grounded character. But even before Whole Cake Island, I loved Sanji. Growing up, I was always rooting for the man who kicked people and always had a sucker in his mouth. I found his relationship with Zoro to be one of the most unique in the series. They are always competing, but when it came to what Zoro did on Thriller Bark, Sanji showed him the true respect he has for Zoro. When we first see Sanji and he leaves with the Straw Hats, it was like he took this first step into being a free person. His first step to finding the All Blue. And now, after Whole Cake Island, Sanji still looks to make his dream become a reality. Sanji's perseverance and attitude is inspiring, but he also has his comedic side, which really makes his character come to life. And now we have the latest step in Sanji's story, his struggle to fully come to terms with who he is, and of the question if he should put on the suit of Germa 66. Sanji still has some steps to go in this fantastic journey, but I think his ability to stay true to his ideals has always resonated with me. His ability to stand back up in the face of hardship. Even when his family terrorizes him, even when people look down on him for how he treats women, Sanji will continue to help Luffy and his crew reach their dreams. He will continue to be the best cook in the world, and he will continue to stay true to himself. These are the reasons why Sanji is my favorite character in One Piece. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below, who's your favorite character in One Piece? For the longest time, it was either Robin or Mihawk for me, but Sanji, just as the story goes on, I think he just gets better and better. And of course, if you want to support me, check out my Patreon. And if you want to interact with me some more, follow me on Twitter @AnnieEssays. So thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.